Alright, hello everyone, I'm back, and my topic for discussion today is finances and how other people viewed witnesses, and I was oblivious to it because I was living in my own bubble. So, just a few experiences of when I'm in my 30s now, going out in service and coming across a few people who would listen or talk to me. So, I did not realize how the tunnel vision the organization had given us. The belief system that, sad to say, really sounds quite arrogant, that we were the only people that God was going to save. All the witnesses were going to save, and those who weren't witnesses were not going to be saved. That was looking at that as like, why on earth did I believe that? But hey, I was brought in as a child, so going out in service, and I came across a minister, a preacher, and I wanted to offer him a watchtower, and he stopped and listened to my presentation, and he said, "I'll take a magazine from you if you will take a pamphlet from me." And mind you, we were told never take material from anyone else. It could turn you away from the truth. Never take material from anyone else. So I never would accept material from anyone else. So I told him, no, I can't take it. And he said that, I don't know if to use hypocritical, but basically, how is it you feel it's okay for me to take your material and take a look at it, but yet you can't take my material and look at it? And honestly, he's the first person that ever said that to me, and it made me think about, why is it I can't? Because he went on to say, if your faith is so strong in what you believe, taking a pamphlet from me and looking at it should not waver your faith, which is very true. I didn't take his pamphlet, and he didn't take my watchtower, so our conversation ended. And what he said was very true. Looking back at that, going, why was I so, why were we told not to accept anything from anyone else? But went back to the sisters, because I was in a group, as you know, you go in 2 by 2s with a group of other sisters, and I told them what he said, and they said, no, you did the right thing, don't accept their material. I'm grown, I'm 30, and I'm still being obedient. And so that right there, that we weren't even willing to accept anybody else's viewpoint on religious matters, like at all. Like, don't look on the internet, don't watch any television programs, don't read any other books, only read the material that we were given. That's it. And I still didn't see it for what it was. I was, told by family members that I was in a cult. I could not see that it was a cult. Again, I think that's because I was raised in it as a child. I didn't see it as a cult. It actually hurt my feelings. I was like, a cult? We're not cultish. There's no way you could consider Jehovah's Witness a cult. We are not a cult. We don't behave like cultish people. And when I left, I realized I was very much in a cult. I did not realize how judgmental we were. Extremely judgmental. Even just being in the hall or with them, how you dress, how you speak, who you spend time with, who you don't spend time with, who was a bad association, even down to, sad to say, a person's lot in life, like wealth, like if they had money or didn't have money, if they were single, if they were married, if they were a single parent. There was all these cliques, definitely cliques, of who hung out with who and who didn't hang out with who. Very, very cultish. So even down to like me being a young girl and wanting to go to school and get an education so I could financially take care of myself, I was encouraged to not go to school. I was told, just find you a good brother and get married, and let him take care of you. Let Jehovah provide through a husband. So just with that alone, that creates a poverty situation, because if you don't bother to educate yourself, and we are in the real world and the end has not come, you're not able to take care of yourself. The sisters normally had, a cleaning job, or I think majority of the time it was a cleaning job, or just some little part-time job, nothing where it would interfere with the meetings or interfere with what they had to do as a wife. Now, if they were pioneers and had not married yet, they were worked a little part-time job. But most pioneers, no, that was Bethalites. Yeah, pioneers worked small, a job where they could work enough to take care of themselves, but not work enough to where it takes away from them being out in full service for the amount of hours they had to spend. So there was something that was also being a Bethalite. So being a Bethalite is when you work full-time without a secular job of any kind 90% of the time, and you vowed that you would not work secularly. If you did work secularly, that you would give your money over to the organization. I had no idea that existed, and I at one point wanted to be a Bethalite, because Bethalite seemed like it was for me, it was something, I would love to be a Bethalite. I can go be full-time, work for Jehovah, and put all my time in to the organization and teaching other people about becoming a Jehovah's Witness. And so they were giving an allowance, from my understanding how it worked, an allowance for clothing, food, and a vehicle. So they never had their own place of their own, because they were always traveling, and took care of their medical expenses. I believe so, that they took care of their medical expenses. But the thing is, if something happened, like for instance, the sister would get pregnant, and they would have to leave, because you could not have a child and do that. So there would be two people who probably most likely raised up in the truth, never had a job, no job experience, no not putting into the SSI, no pension, no nothing, because they're not going to give you a pension. And you have to figure out how you're going to support a wife and a child when you've never even had a job before. You've never paid rent. You never had a mortgage. You never had a car payment. You never had to buy medical insurance. You never had to deal with the outside world on a regular basis, because all you ever dealt with was people you were walking to a door and knocking on, having a conversation, walking away, or the people you met at the hall. Other than that, you weren't involved in the world at all. So that set up a lot. I saw a couple of couples who their relationships really restrained over it. Relationships didn't survive over it, because that brother who was responsible for taking care of that sister had no skill set to make enough money to take care of his family. For those who never had any experience. For some were blessed enough to have some type of support system to help them out, but a lot of them, that wasn't the case. And some of the marriages didn't survive that, or they just weren't very happy at all. And then, so me, discouraged not to work, not to go to college, just basically get a trade or something, and to wait on a husband. So, and then also, Paradise was coming. So since Paradise was coming, we don't need anything materially. Don't be caught up in the material world, because you're not going to need it. All this is going to be destroyed. So there was no plan for the future. There was no plan for when you get old and you can't work, and you need to have some money set aside, because you might outlive Paradise. Not outlive. You might die before Paradise. Yeah, but you still need to have some type of income or a place to live, and be able to afford that even when you can't work anymore, because you've reached a certain age, or you're sick, or you're ill, and you need to have finances to be able to take care of that. So no financial education, no credit education, none of those things. I can say from my side of the family, no, and I can also say talking to other sisters, no one talked about money. No one talked about finances. Actually, money wasn't talked about much at all. As far as like tithing, we didn't tithe. They said, give what you can, and there was donation boxes as you walked in. But there was no talk on finances as far as us planning for our financial future so that we have the means to take care of ourselves and function in the world that we live in. And so there was a lot of poverty, a lot of people who really needed help with finances, but the organization wasn't set up. They didn't pay bills. There was no charity with the hall. There was no food drives. There was no charity work. None of those things. Yet there was no. You were not encouraged to take care of yourself, but you also were not provided for. So it was really, now that I look back, a really messed up system. And yeah, I think I'll stop right there and I'll come back later.